Hi everyone, my name is Eva. I'm a life wellness consultant and I'm back with a story from the Bible that I thought it was fun to share. It's about Esau and Jacob, and then after the story I'll be sharing how to read or how to pray the rosary. I brought it here. And I'll get into why I feel it's important to at least know how to pray it, the basics, and that's why I've brought it. And I'll also read the story of Esau and Jacob, a tiny bit in Spanish. We'll see how much I can get through. So this is a picture of the twins, Esau and Jacob. It's a really nice, lovely painting. So it says here, like his mother, Sarah, Isaac's wife, Rebecca wasn't infertile, but after Isaac prayed for her, she became pregnant with twins. However, a rivalry that began in her womb would continue through life with far-reaching consequences. And so I'll give you a summary of what this is. The story of Esau and Jacob in the Bible is about twin brothers, the elder of whom, Esau, foolishly traded his birthright to the younger Jacob for a bowl of stew. Years later, their mother Rebecca and Jacob deceived their elderly blind father, Isaac, or Isaac. Sorry, that's English pronunciation. Isaac, into giving Jacob the birthright blessing that rightfully belonged to Esau. And actually, I'm going to look up the right pronunciation of Esau to make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Esau.
Esau, I guess. I wonder if I think in Spanish it is Esau.
Esau.
Esau. So it's Esau and Jacob. Back to the story. This deception led to a lifelong feud and Jacob's fight from Esau. The brothers eventually reconciled many years later, with Esau forgiving Jacob. So Esau was a hunter and liked being outdoors, hunting for his food, and Esau was his father's favorite. And it escapes me the name of his father. It'll come to me. And his mother preferred Jacob because he was a homebody and preferred to just be at home, and that was his thing. The twins' birth, Jacob and Esau were the sons of Isaac and Rebecca. So that's right. So Isaac was their father, and they were twin brothers. The Lord had told Rebecca that her two sons would become two nations, and the older would serve the younger. Esau was born first and was a hunter, while Jacob was more of a quiet homebody, which is what I just said. The birthright and blessing. As the elder twin, Esau was due the birthright, which included a double portion of inheritance, leadership of the family, and judicial authority. One day, hungry, Esau returned from hunting, and Jacob, seeing an opportunity, offered to give him a bowl of red stew in exchange for his birthright. Esau agreed, not fully appreciating the significance of what he was giving up. When Esau was older and near death, he intended to give the birthright blessing to Esau, but Rebekah overheard his plans. With Rebekah's help, Jacob disguised himself as Esau, wearing animal skins to imitate his hairy body. He received Isaac's blessing, Isaac's blessing, which included authority over Esau. Consequences and reunion. Esau was enraged and vowed to kill Jacob. So Jacob fled for his life. After about 20 years, Jacob returned, and after a pivotal wrestling match where he was given the name Israel, so Jacob was given the name Israel, he and Esau were reconciled. So that's the basic story. What's interesting here is I'll share a testimonial here about twins. I'm actually a twin myself. I'm a fraternal twin. We are nothing alike, just like Esau and Jacob. I'm more of an outdoorsy person and would consider myself extroverted. I do like meeting new people. And what's funny is that, let's see, maybe it was 2023. I'll give you this fun story, interesting story. I was at a gym that I just joined. Sorry, I'm gonna back up. It was August 2023. I was feeling sad, a tiny bit sad, and I was in my parents' home laying on their couch, relaxing, and I look up at my mother's shrine because, as she does, she has a shrine with all her saints out. We're Roman Catholic, so that's typical. And the sun hits Mary, the Virgin Mary's robe at a certain way where it just shines this kind of mint green color, a little bit, I don't know if it was in between sage or mint green, but I kind of like fall into this deep sleep, and I remember I was in a house that felt like I was near the beach. It felt like I was in the Cape, and Cape Cod here in Massachusetts, that's what we call the Cape. And I look up, there are these stairs that I see, and the color of the walls is the same color of the robe on Mary's robe. It's like that mint color I was telling you about, mint sagey color. And I see a window at the top of the stairs, and after that I don't remember anything else, but I think I woke up from that. It was like a brief dream. I just remember feeling like I was at a beach, felt like I was at the beach, and breezy, and just like a really nice, just like an ocean feeling being by the ocean. And that was August. And so I think that was a Saturday. The next day I went to church, and at church, the sermon had to do with faith. I was standing in front of the statue of Mary, and I wanted to understand what her message was, because I knew it was a message, but I didn't know what the message was about. The sermon was about, I don't remember where exactly, but I'll add it on the description box below. The sermon was about a woman who cries into the village, and she's crying about her daughter who is sick and doesn't know what to do, and she knows that Jesus is in town and is able to help. And so Jesus finds her and says, take it easy, I'll take care of her. She will be healed. And so the message was to have faith. And so that was a sermon. And of course, Jesus heals her daughter. That was August. And then in September, I joined Equinox, the gym. And I walk into the entrance of the gym, and there's this girl who was at the front desk, and I just thought to myself, oh, you know, I don't know, her and I kind of felt like, when she told me when she saw me, she felt like this warm energy, kind of kind energy, and she just like enjoyed saying hi. She was the person that worked behind the desk, and I just thought, oh, you know, maybe she's like a model, does that on the side, and I didn't think much of it. And then I walk up the stairs, and there's a girl that's walking on this treadmill that looked almost similar to the girl that was at the front desk. And I thought, maybe they're sisters. I walk into the women's room, and the girl on the treadmill gets off and goes into the women's locker room, and we're standing by the sinks. And I start talking to her, and our conversation it leads into, we talk about business and entrepreneurship, and it's a really pleasant, sweet conversation. And at the end of the conversation, I ask her, what is your name? And she says, my name is Faith. And I don't want to cry, but it's like a sign from God. And then I ask her, what's your sister's name? And she said, my twin sister's name is Hope. And another coincidence or synchronicity is that they have a third. They're sisters. It's 3 sisters, and their other sister her name is Grace. So their names are Hope, who was born first, Faith, and then Grace. But I just felt like it was another sign from God to just have faith. And they're actually really sweet people that I know, that I met at the gym. And we, as we saw each other more often at the gym, we talked more about getting into business. And now for me, I wanted to encourage them to go into modeling, because I knew that that's something that they could do naturally, and they weren't already doing it. And so Faith, when I asked her she was doing it, kind of broke my heart that she wasn't doing it. And then she pinky swore that she would start posting more on Instagram. And now it's September 2015. They have over 50,000 subscribers in their Instagram account. So for me, it's always it's kind of a sign to follow your intuition. no matter what the struggle is. I feel like God is always pointing you in that right direction. So that's like a small testimonial that I wanted to share with you. Okay, so I've read you the story of Esau and Jacob. Normally I read this in Spanish, so I'll get into that just now, because I think it's kind of neat to hear it in Spanish just a tiny bit. And then I'll get into sharing a little bit more about the rosary. Let's see. So this is from Genesis 25, verse 21. So I'm just going to switch it to Spanish right now. Esta parte es, lo voy a leer en español. Esta parte de la historia de Esau y Jacob es Génesis 25, versículo 21. No sé si lo voy a leer todo completo, pero yo creo que la historia es divertida y por eso la voy a leer, porque yo soy una gemela. Nacimiento de Esau y Jacob. Isaac suplicó a Yahvé, que es Dios, en favor de sus esposa, pues era estéril. Yahvé escuchó su oración y Rebeca, su esposa, quedó encinita. Pero como los hijos chocasen entre sí en su seno, ella dijo: si esto debe de seguir, yo me muero. Y fue a consultar a Yahvé. Yahvé le dijo: 2 naciones hay en tu seno, 2 pueblos se separan desde tu entrañas. Uno será más fuerte del otro, y el mayor servirá al menor. Llegó el día del nacimiento y se comprobó que había mellizos en su vientre. El primero que nació era rojizo y tan peludo que parecía un abrigo de pieles. Eso está chistoso porque no puedo creer que la Biblia describe algo así. Por lo que llamaron Esau. Después salió su hermano, que agarraba con una mano el talón de Esau, y lo llamaron a Jacob. Y lo llamaron Jacob. Isaac tenía 60 años cuando nacieron. Los 2 muchachos crecieron. Esau llegó a ser un experto cazador y un hombre de campo abierto, mientras Jacob era un hombre tranquilo a quien le gustaba estar en la tienda. Isaac quería a Esau porque le gustaba la caza, le gustaba cazar como animales, pero Rebeca prefería a Jacob. En cierta ocasión estaba Jacob cocinando un guiso. Cuando llegó Esau el campo muy agotado, dijo Esau a Jacob: por favor, dame un poco de ese guiso rojizo, pues estoy hambriento. Por eso fue llamado Edom, o sea, rizo. Jacob le dijo: ¿me vendes pues ahora mismo tus derechos de progénito? Esau le respondió: estoy que me muero. ¿Qué me importan mis derechos de progenitor? Jacob insistió: júramelo ahora mismo. Y lo juro. Vendiéndole sus derechos. Jacob entonces dio a su hermano pan y guiso de lentejas. Esau comió y bebió y después de marchó. No hizo mayor caso de sus derechos de primogénito. That's a hard one to pronounce. Es un poquito difícil de pronunciar. Primogénito. So that's in Spanish. Yo creo que el punto de la historia es que hubo algo entre los hermanos que uno quiso quitarle al otro, y hubo una pelea durante 20 años, y al fin de todo se hicieron amigos. Es solo una historia de la Biblia. All right, so I'm going to get into reading the rosary or praying the rosary. This is going to be very basic because I don't want to overdo this. I was just looking for my phone because I couldn't find my other phone. So I'm going to be reading this in English and in Spanish. The reason for this is really interesting. I've been doing a little bit of research on NDEs, which are near-death experiences. And, I don't know if you've had a chance to do a little research yourself, but I think it's important because there have been so many near-death experiences that people get stuck in what they think is hell or purgatory. And so to get out of that situation, and they feel like they're in there for infinite amount of years. And I can add some links below. I can share that this has become more popular in the last 2 years, especially because Tim Ferriss had somebody on his podcast who he interviewed. It was an older gentleman, an older doctor, who talked about the fact that these things happened in the hospital where people would talk about their testimonies of leaving the bodies and being able to identify articles of clothing that their doctors would be wearing, even though they were pronounced dead, and then they would come back to life. So this is why I'm sharing the rosary. I think it's very simple to pray, and it's a good way to also get rid of bad entities, bad energy. I've had dreams where I've had really scary entities appear, and they're gone within 1.5 seconds. They don't like the sound of you calling out to God. So the purpose of this is to help people so that they know that they can have faith in themselves to get themselves out of situations. God is always with you. He's in you. And if you call out to him, no matter what religion you are, even if you're a Christian, you don't do the rosary at all, you can also call for him on your own. Say, dear God, help me out of this situation. There was a story that I'll probably link down below about a professor who was an older man, and he was right out not nice, not a friendly man. And when he had his near-death experience, apparently he said he died, and he was stuck in this hell where he's very descriptive and it's very scary. And he just gave up, and he said, dear God, I need help. I need you to come and help me. And when he called out for God, he came down and helped him out of that situation. And my heart breaks because there's so many souls, so many people that they simply just don't know how to pray out to God. And it's like there's lost souls. It's not necessary. When you have kind of bad feelings coming over you, or you have a sensation, an impulse to do something wrong, you either, as Jefferson Fisher has said, has interviewed other people, he said, you either go to sleep or you walk outside. You do something better with your time as opposed to doing something that you'll regret. Jefferson Fisher is a lawyer. He is an expert in communication. I can also link his information below in the description box. But so let's get into this. It's really simple. I'm still learning this in English because I learned this in Spanish. I only went to Mass in Spanish, and I think it's important to learn. So this is the rosary. This is the cross. You start with the Our Father, and then there's 3 Hail Marys that you would pray, and then this is the Our Father again that you pray, and then you work yourself from left down to the right. From the left, you start with a Hail Mary. There's 10 of these beads, 10 of these beads, and then it's another Our Father all the way around, and it's 50 Hail Marys and 5 Our Fathers, I believe. Maybe a little more, 7, because it includes these two beads. But this is mine. This was one time, this was gold. But I've used it so much that now it's the color silver, as you can see. Okay. So we'll start with the Our Father. That's how you start with this first bead. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Going to read this in Spanish now so that you hear the difference. I'm just writing down a note for myself before I forget. Padre nuestro, que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día. Perdona nuestras ofensas, como también nosotros perdonamos a los que nos ofenden. No nos dejes caer en tentación y líbranos del mal. Amen. So that's in Spanish. And then now in English, our Hail Mary. It is, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now at the hour of death. Amen. Amen. And now in Spanish. This is, okay. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y el bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. Santa María, Madre de Dios, ruega por nosotros pecadores, ahora y en la hora de nuestra muerte. Amén. These are real tongue twisters when you have to switch from one language to the other. I don't know. It's just gets your brain going. Okay, so I also wanted to share this fun fact about this doctor actually that's been interviewed more often. Her name is Dr. Tara Swartz. And I'll also add her book below and a good interview of hers. She is a neuroscientist, a medical doctor, and she's written a book called The Source. Open your mind, change your life. This is a woman that, is a neuroscientist, and I've heard her story. She is by the book. She's a scientist, likes to prove herself wrong, and she has had coincidences or synchronicities happen to her recently. She met her husband, she said, in 2016. She married him for 4 years. He died, I think it was 2020. And then after that, she would get signs from him, is what she would mention. And so now what's interesting is that this is opening up a new wave of people thinking differently, right? So understanding that this is a 3D, we're all here, we can all see each other. This is we can feel, touch. This is our, 5 senses. But there's a 6th sense, that there is a higher self, and of yourself, who is trying to communicate with you, consciousness, and there are other souls that are trying to connect with you, help you, guide you, and also God. God chooses certain people to help him. He is in all of us. He wants a relationship with us, and he only wants to help, and he forgives over and over. No matter what you do, he forgives. Although he doesn't, I'll tell you this, anything that you do that's wrong, he will have no mercy on you when you step away from him and start doing things that are not right. Best thing to do is to always do the right thing. He comes closer to you. He helps you. He puts people in front of you. He actually does have angels, or has the capability of coming into people's chests and speaking to them and helping people. Because I'll share this one story about this NDE that I will share, because I feel the message needs to be about hope and faith. And this one story, this one DE that I watched, this gentleman gave a testimonial, and he's also written a book about it. I don't know how I think he was in a motorcycle accident, and I'll also leave the link below so you can see it for yourself. He died. He was officially dead. They couldn't feel a heartbeat, and they had wrapped him up, put him in a black bag, put him in the back of an ambulance, and there was a gentleman in the back taking care of his body while they took him from wherever he died over to the hospital to pronounce him dead. And I think it was like a long ride, and 20 minutes after he had died, the paramedic that was inside the back, he kept getting this feeling in his chest saying, "This one is not dead. This one is not dead." He ignored it twice, and then on the third time, he crossed, I think it was protocol. He did what he was not supposed to do, but he still saved a man. He opens up the black bag while the ambulance is driving, or on the road, on the way to the hospital, and the paramedic feels a pulse on the man's ankle. And so what the paramedic does is that I don't remember exactly, he puts something on his chest to revive him with electricity, and then he comes back to life and he's breathing again. And so the moral of the story is, this man who survived, actually, while he was dead, he was able to visit what our future is going to look like. Our future is going to be beautiful. It's going to be pristine. Buildings are going to be perfect, and we're going to live in a peaceful world. And that's what my hope is that we start talking about positive things so that we can move in the right direction. Instead of putting fear in people's hearts, we talk about things that are positive instead of always talking about fear. What we want to do is talk about things that are positive and look into the future and know that we're going to have enough intelligence and know that our cities are going to grow into something spectacular. And so that's my hope. And this guy who passed away for an hour, he was dead for an hour, is what he mentioned. I have to go back to look at the video, because I know that he said at 20 minutes this paramedic helped him, and then they said that he was clinically dead for an hour. So I'm just trying to remember what he said exactly, but he wrote a book about what the future is going to look like. And I'm hopeful that we will start speaking only positivity, because it makes a big difference. We reinforce what we say. And so the more positive things that come out of our mouth, we are encouraging to each other, supportive. And the more that we do the right thing, the more that we share more love, more support for each other, the more that God comes down and helps us individually and everybody around us. And I think that that's the whole point, right? I'm still struggling with this, and it breaks my heart. I really want to feel like bawling my eyes out and crying, because I wish for there to never be pain for anybody. So I'm gonna switch gears because I think I don't want to get too emotional. This sweater I got in Newport, Rhode Island. I love it. If you want to go down there, I recommend it. It feels so comfortable. The material is a lot like that store Viore that I'll link also below if you are interested in getting something like this. Their colors are not as bright because it's fall now, but if you want to maybe catch this color and you want to get something like this, I recommend going to Newport. If I can remember the name of the store, I will share it with you. But I do recommend that. Sorry, I had to switch gears completely because I was getting too emotional. I think that's all I had for you. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.